Emoji power, man. The Emoji Movie.
So
What about it?
I was.
It's garbage.
So I was hanging out in this one person's stream, and they made me a Twitch mod, and then this other person who was a moderator brought up you can set Twitch to force normal users into emoji-only chat.
And whoever made that
you're
choice,
only allowed to type in emojis. You're not allowed to type.
And whoever made that choice, I hate them.
That is a Twitch moderator mode.
And again, whoever made that a thing,
Sounds
I
great.
hate them.
That sounds great.
Oh, you mean it sounds bad?
You can set it to emoji-only mode.
That sounds like an inherent bad idea, like remaking Final Fantasy VII.
You can also force
God
people.
damn it. Hold on now. What's so wrong about that?
You
It
can.
would never live up to the hype.
You can
What do you
also.
mean?
It's like making Half-Life 3. It is a bad idea because it will never live up to people's unrealistic
We're not,
expectations.
Carson. There's literally there's a movement of people who say the game would be better as an action game.
Hmm.
Oh, Half-Life.
Really? I
Do we need to ramble about Philfish?
no, that was Faz. Half-Life is Valve, remember?
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Ignore me.
Canceling Fest 2.
Phil Fizz just kind of dropped off the face of the internet, just in
That's 'cause it's
general.
bad.
Okay then.
And then he knows it.
That's the end of that
Yes!
discussion.
Fez 2 has an. Fez never happened because of him, and then Fez 2 has an entire fake language in it, and a lot of the controversies of the original Fez is that a lot of the puzzles are ridiculously obtuse for no reason, like the fact that you have
It's
to
almost like the game was made by a pretentious tool.
you have to encrypt and manually figure out an entire fake language.
Hey, at least you don't have to read Braille.
I learned something interesting about that.
What?
Now, admittedly, so a lot of people said that the Pokemon Braille thing was obtuse, but I learned something interesting. Now, admittedly, this was short-sighted and is a problem now, but back in the day, apparently the manuals,
It has a phone number for when you find Braille.
and it had a lot of other info on how to.
Oh no, it didn't have info. It just had a phone number. It said, call this phone number if you find
And then-
Braille.
No, I think someone said Emerald gave you more information.
Emerald might have. I don't know about Emerald, but Ruby and Sapphire did not.
I think someone said they.
What is this?
In the
You
manual of
don't-
Ruby and Sapphire, there's literally a phone number that you're supposed to call if you find a cave.
You don't know
It even
about
sa-
the.
I even think it says if you find Braille.
You don't know about the Reggies, do you?
I mean, I didn't play that. I didn't play that gym.
Oh.
Okay, so, well, let's see. His blind reaction.
No, he already knows about it. We already made a joke about it.
Yeah, we had.
We made a joke about it about 5 minutes ago. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, they're the caves of Braille.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And the game expects you to do really weird things to get these Pokemon.
3 legendaries are hidden behind a puzzle, and the translation for what you're supposed to do is written in Braille, but it is Braille as an image.
And then I bet for anyone who had a
Well, I
blind...
mean, I'd be impressed if they actually made Braille that I could feel on my Game Boy game.
And then...
I mean, that's a little too real for my taste.
Hey,
there's
we can do it now! HD Rumble, bitch!
Okay, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Hey, there's that one Game Boy game where you play a guy whose weapon is solar powered, and in order to charge your weapon, you have to take out the Game Boy cartridge and go put it in sunlight.
And you see, this is why I am...
I'm not kidding.
And you see, this is why I think Death Stranding will fail, because when when you don't keep Kojima's pretension in check, stupid things like that happen.
Oh no!
That Game Boy game that was
What are you
made...
talking about? Kojima is actually
Oh
God.
no! Like, what is?
No, that's Oda.
What is that game? What is that game?
That
Pure
game is
Makes
amazing.
no sense.
Yeah, it's pure Kojima, and that's the
I need
problem.
all the context to understand what the hell is going on in that game.
You see, most people say that publishers are bad because they restrict ideas, but the good thing about them restricting ideas...
They're bad. They're still bad. They're still...
But no self-respecting publisher would ever let something like that happen.
I mean, it doesn't. Well, I mean, no. Instead, they want him to take his idea and turn it into zombie game.
Okay, to be fair, Kojima himself kind of did something like that. There's a secret in Metal Gear Solid 3. It's called Guy Savage. The game becomes an action game for like 5 minutes for no apparent reason.
Again, they literally took Phantom Pain and just added zombies. They did no real work. They took the same engine for the game that was made literally like 2 years before. They turned it into zombie game.
On an unrelated note, just because it's funny and I just want to bring it up, in Phantom Pain, there's this boss battle where you're fighting a woman and she's a sniper and she's up high and really far away. And if you basically try to approach her from any angle,
You die!
she will basically snipe you and you lose. So this boss battle is really hard. But a fun, stupid way to beat her. In the game, you have the ability to... You can pretty much call in emergency supply drops. And a plane will fly in and it will drop a box with a parachute, and the box will just land, and the box is emergency supplies. Target her, call in a supply drop, and the plane will fly over the boss, drop the crate with the parachute, it'll boop her on the head, and she dies.
Oh, Kojima.
And in the harder difficulty, she takes 2 hits, so she falls for that not once, but twice.
That makes it worse.
Yes. Yes, it does.
And you see, this is why the best boss in any game ever was Mr. Freeze in Arkham City, because you can't use the same way to deal damage on him twice. You have to deal damage on him each time in a different way.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I can already solve that entire problem. I can just make a boss that literally does not take damage from the same damage source twice.
That's what
That's
Mr. Freeze
basically-
does.
I mean, that's what a lot of bosses do.
Except this is in
There are
a...
literal bosses in RPGs
that's
that
also
are like, you just use fire damage? I'm now immune to fire damage.
Yeah, but this is a, like...
Well, yeah, we have to think about the fact that in that game, that's less of... yeah, it's a boss, but I mean, in the same way that he's still fundamentally the same as any other, platformer boss or something. Because he's basically just a puzzle.
Yes, but it's still...
No, I'm not trying to say to discredit it, but
It's just one of those, you never see, like, everyone always questions why does the, like, basically, why does the boss always expose their giant fuck-off button?
It was just interesting that... It was just interesting that a Batman game, like...
Especially because, it was actually really in character.
well, it's interesting. Well, and that's interesting, but it's also like that's the only boss that does that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they make every boss like that?
Well, because
Now, granted,
Mr. Freeze is smart.
I mean, that's not a good excuse.
It's not really.
Do you
but-
really expect Clayface to be smart?
No, but that's not that's like that's an in-universe good excuse. But that's not a video game good excuse.
Which is funny, because I normally
That would be like...
Why does young Xehanort control time? Because the boss was more interesting that way.
That would be like if out of nowhere there was literally like 6 bosses that didn't have any triangle commands.
It is a good point that the other bosses in the game don't change it.
Because and I understand, Obviously, when I say boss, I don't mean the random big guy in the room full of people. That's not what I consider a boss.
The boss
but when you're fighting like Clayface or Mr. Freeze or that other guy, why do they not?
That other guy.
The other boss.
I can't remember all the bosses in that game.
For Arkham City, it was you have Mr. Freeze, the final boss thing against a Clayface. Is Catwoman the one that fights Two-Face?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not counting that one because that was technically DLC.
That's a terrible battle anyway.
That was technically DLC in the original game, and then it's
You
Ra's
fight-
al Ghul, and that's...
Solomon Grundy.
Oh, yeah.
He fights Solomon Grundy.
I forgot about Grundy. Okay, yeah, Grundy is a dumbass, Clayface is a dumbass, and Ra's al Ghul has a god complex. Are you going to, like, cut any of this out, or just cut between the different tangents? Because you... Oh,
Flips hair after missing, and you want to call the boy emo.
That's the most emo thing you could do! It's like an anime character pushing up his glasses after he finishes.
So...
So man, the glasses push up. He's gotta fix them, man. He's gotta bring them up.
What was the...
So that they randomly fog up and block his eyes.
What was the Naruto fighting game where after one of Kabuto's supers you actually have a prompt to do the... There's actually a command for the glasses pushing?
It's one of the Wii ones.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one of the... Because because he actually does damage when you do it.
It does?
Yeah, because you did a motion control command.
Oh my god, it's the rose.
And so when you do the motion control command, even if it's not doing anything, it does extra damage. Because you did the command correctly.
Why?
Because you
Guys,
get
you
rewarded
can
for your
do-
command.
You do him like Dudley. You throw the rose at him. There's a Street Fighter character that's a boxer named Dudley, and his whole thing is that he's supposed to be like a gentleman. Because in like Third Strike, there's literally a cutscene where he pulls up in like a fancy car and jumps out. But the whole thing is that he has a taunt where he literally smells a rose and throws it over his back.
Can we all agree
It
that
does
Kabuto
damage.
fight was bullshit?
It literally does like a speck of damage. And so people literally beat him by killing people with the rose.
Can we all agree that Kabuto final boss was bullshit?
Besides the AI cheating, that's the fight where he permanently has the fucking up your controls effect, right?
And he can just heal. He's just healing.
Mm.
You do damage, he just heals. He's just healing forever, can fuck up your controls. His AI is set in a way where it can perfectly frame counter everything you do.
Well, that's just the general fighting game that's just the general fighting game final boss problem. They cheat like a motherfucker.
It's just...
What do you mean, man? That's just how it is.
So how about that Beautiful Joe final boss?
How else are they gonna do it? How else are they gonna do harder?
Beautiful Joe has a terrible final boss.
Ah, that game needs
Sure,
a...
all
Only
agree-
so many final bosses can, boast about being the leader of the Illuminati.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not wrong about that.
That was an expensive ass pack. With all kinds of garbage in it.
God damn.
Oh, just like a real expansion pack.
So,
Man.
Man, that pack had some garbage in it.
I want a Beautiful Joe remake so badly.
Mm-hmm.
That game needs a major overhauling.
Sells cards because he needs more points for packs that actually have shit in them.
I'm low-key convinced that they left the stun lock in the final boss of Beautiful Joe to justify the higher difficulties.
So you say that it needs like major overhauling, but if it still wouldn't be a perfect setup because I would like. Well, it's still
trash.
Well, it still would not be like a perfect setup because I would like to stop at Fire Leo. Removing lives is the biggest thing the game needs to do.
Oh, fuck yes it does.
That is the biggest one.
I would keep banging my head against the wall if I had unlimited lives. It's the limited lives.
Also, reset your boomerangs and stuff. Don't have that stay consume...
Unlimited boomerangs!
No.
Yes. You only buy the one.
Okay, no.
God damn it, I knew they did that.
That would break the game in half. They already break the game in half, but that breaks it in half more.
As a kid, I never thought boomerangs were useful.
No one did! Because no one thought to slow down or speed up when they use them.
Can we all agree the Magnificent Five is bullshit?
Yes?
This door requires a lot.
Beautiful Joe, the most basic thing I want out
Yeah,
of
because it probably has, a broke Keyblade in it.
the most basic thing I want out of a Beautiful Joe remake. All break times to have saving, and I want unlimited lives. That fixes that entire game as just a basic. You could do way more.
No, that fixes the higher difficulties. The base game is tame compared to those.
Yeah.
My thing about the different Keyblades in this game is literally, what do you expect someone to do if they want a deck of all the same Keyblade?
Grind, son! Is there...
That's literally what that is that, you know, you open it, it's like, oh, well, the Oblivion Keyblade does this. So if I make this strategy around the Oblivion Keyblade, I'm gonna need a deck of all Oblivion Keyblades.
Is Ultimate Weapon in this game?
Yeah.
So it has a card?
Yeah, it literally just has perfect, it has perfect stats.
Of course it does.
But I think you have to literally get every other Keyblade to get it.
Realistically, the best way to play this game is to just kind of ignore the bonuses of the Keyblades and focus more on building around slight use.
It depends on what you're doing, because you can totally play the game with just Keyblades.
You know what I
But
mean.
basically, when you do that, you have to build your deck in a way where you really do want to look at what the effects on the Keyblades are.
If you're going more Keyblade focused, just try to build around some better ones, but don't try to just get multiples of the same Keyblade, because that's just needless amount of grinding when the quickest solutions are just a couple of broken slides, and then
Well,
you just...
well, yeah, I mean... But the other thing is, you also look at what level you are. Because you have to actually grind to get enough slice to kill certain bosses.
That's true.
Whereas it's safer to just use Keyblades and fight normally. It takes longer, but it's safer.
That's fair enough.
So I mean, I would say unless you're doing what I'm doing right now and trying to get that CP up so that you can afford to have like 30 Sonic Blades going off, you need to be using Keyblades and looking at what your Keyblades
Most
are.
people who play this game end up doing that.
But even that, you have to look at what Keyblade you're using, and actually Keyblades will affect the damage of your slight.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point, I would say if your specific slight only needs one type of Keyblade, and you have a bunch of Oblivion, take Oblivion. Does the most damage.
Watching people play this game, the most common thing I see get done is like the thing that you were doing or the time stop strategy I talked about a while back, and that's normally all.
Goddamn, that's
People just grind until they can either freeze time on bosses forever or do what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I see variants like this for grinding. So basically, most people just generally kind of agree that a good way to play the game, even though it kind of takes a bit, is to grind so you can just kind of spam your way through the bosses and stuff.
You've literally only upgraded HP like twice.
I've
'Cause you,
upgraded a few times.
you don't need as much HP.
I don't need any more.
If Tornado isn't in Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm gonna be upset.
I watched a list a while back that was the worst attacks in Kingdom parts list, and there were some weird slights on that list from this game that I forgot existed because I never see anyone talk about them.
Oh, because they're terrible.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, have any of you ever used the grinding trick that Sean is using? I thought I would ask because it's a pretty commonly known trick due to a lot of people recommending it. Also, if I've asked this question before, I'm sorry about that. I don't remember asking this question. It was one I wanted to ask, but I'm pretty sure when I wanted to ask it, I ended up changing the topic. So, if I did ask it, that's kind of funny, but anyway, I would really love to know what you guys think. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. My social media links are in the video description. Now, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button and leaving some comments really helps. If you want to keep up with our videos, hitting the subscription button and ringing the notification bell is the best way to do so. And if you follow me on social media, that helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time.